Hi everyone, this is Shashank Singh and we are in the way of learning Python programming language. In this video, we are going to discuss some important concepts dotted around for loop in Python, right? So first of all, we should know why we use it actually. So for loop are traditionally used when you have a block of code which you want to repeat a fixed number of times, right? So in Python, for statement iterates over a member of sequence in order to execute each block specified number of times. So here, as you can see on my screen as well, I have provided two screenshots wherein first one is of failure and second one is of happy case, right? Wherein you are able to see all the elements get printed post execution using for loop. However, in the second case, we are getting some error post execution. The reason behind it is I have used capital F here, right? So as you know in Python, these keywords are case sensitive. So we have to make sure what we are using while writing Python code, so we have to take care of cases in short. So this is the correct way of writing for loop, right? Wherein we have to use for keyword first, then we have to specify a variable name. This can be underscore xyz, anything as per your own use cases. So here I have wrote num as a variable name. So this particular variable will responsible to iterate through all of the elements of this particular list, which is sample list, right? Post we can write in we have to write in keyword, then we have to write exactly same variable name whatever I have wrote here, right? So if you will print num, you will get all elements of this particular list. So this is the basic syntax of for loop. So let's just explore this concept in Jupyter Notebook in order to build a deeper understanding. So we're gonna discuss a couple of examples, and I think at this end of this video you have a pretty much fair understanding about the concepts dotted around for loop, right? So let's do not waste our precious time and let's just get started. So here I'm using Jupyter Notebook. So first of all, we'll write a simple program using for loop to check whether a number is odd or not, right? So I'm writing var1 as a variable, then I'm putting few integer type values in a list, right? I'm writing 23, 24, 34, 35, 30, 27, 98, 76, 77, right? So these are the number in this list. So what I'm doing here is I'm writing for loop to check whether these numbers are odd or even. So I have to write for keyword, then we have to specify a variable name. So this particular variable name will be responsible to iterate through all of the elements of this var1 list, right? So in we have to write the same variable name here. So what I'm doing here is I'm writing if nums modulus 2 equal to 0, right? So print even number, right? Else print odd number. So you will get, I mean, like this is this. So what this program mean is this num will go to each element, right? So as I told you, so whatever you are writing just after for keyword, so this particular variable is responsible to iterate through all of the elements, right? So what I'm doing here is if num modulus 2 is equal to 0. So let's talk about 24. 24 modulus 2 is equal to 0, right? Because 24 divided by 2 is equal to 0. So modulus is nothing but it stores the remainder basically. So 24 modulus 2 is equal to 0, so it will print even number. So here second element is of even number. However, 23 modulus 2 is not equal to 0 as it's written 1 as a remainder. So else will be executed, right? So it's very pretty simple program. We can write formatting here. Let's say I'm writing colon, then I can write num here, right? Similarly, I can write F here for formatting, then we have to write colon, curly braces, then num. So we'll get all numbers, odd number 23, even number 24. So this num is iterating through all of the elements. First it will go to 23 and just check whether this 23 modulus 2 equal to 0, 0 or not, right? Sorry, equal to 0 or not. So it's not equal to 0. So it will print else condition. So odd number, right? So this is all about, I mean, like this is a basic program wherein you can use for loop, right? So let's check few more program as well. So what I'm doing here is I'm declaring one more variable, right? So let me print this var1 first. What I'm doing here is sum is equal to 0. I'm assigning 0 value to this sum variable, right? What I'm doing here is for num in var1, right? Colon sum is equal to sum plus num, right? What I'm doing here is I'm printing sum. So if you so here sum is equal to 0 initially, right? So sum is equal to 0 plus num. So this num will iterate through all of the elements, right? So first of all it will go to 23. So sum is equal to 0. So 0 plus 23 is equal to 23. So 23 value get assigned to this sum, right? Second time it will num will go to 24. Then sum is equal to 23, which is the last updated value of sum. Then 23 plus 24 will be 47, right? So this is how it's keep adding till end, right? So at the end you will get 394, right? So what if you are printing the same thing here? So you'll get the last updated value of sum, right? So this is all about indentation. So that's why indentation is very important for writing Python code. So if you print sum here, you will get all the values. So whatever value is coming in sum, you will print this, right? But if you put this here, so last value of sum get updated. So first num will iterate through all values and sum get updated, and at the end whatever value will be there in sum, so we'll print this, right? So we'll print this, right? So this is the second example. Now we'll see some more example. So we'll use for loop from different scenarios. I'm writing my name Shashank Singh, right? So this is my name, right? What I'm doing here is for I can write some letter, right? For letter. So this is the keyword. So here I have used num. Then here I have, sorry, this is a variable name which I have used. So instead of num, this time I'm using letter, right? So what I'm doing here for letter in name, right? So what I'm doing here is I have to write colon, then print letter, right? So I will get all the elements of this particular thing, right? So here, as you know, in string this space will also counted as a single character, so I have print space as well, right? So this is how you can unpack a string, right? Now let's check tuple as well. So let's say I'm writing my tuple equals, I'm writing few integer type values 1 2 3 4, right? So this is my tuple, right? What I'm doing here is I'm writing for item. I mean, like, just I can put anything, right? So we can write x also, we can write item also, right? So item will iterate through all of the elements of this my tuple, right? So for item in my tuple, right, print item, right? So you'll get all items, right? That's how you can, I mean, like, you can use it in tuple as well. So let's talk about some more example. My list. So this time what I'm doing here is I'm writing a list wherein I'm providing few tuples, 1 2, then 34 4.5. Now what I'm doing here is, let's say I'm writing Shashank. Now I'm providing few age, let's say 23, right? So this is my tuple. So what I can do, same thing I'm doing here for item in my list, right? Colon print item, right? So we will get all the whatever items are there, right? So it will iterate through all of the elements. So this is the first element, this is the second, right? So three items I got, right? Then what we can do here is let's check what. So instead of item I'm writing a comma b, right? So what I'm doing here is print a, so we'll get the first element, right? Similarly we can print b as well, so we'll get a, so 1 2 34 4.5. So that's how we can unpack this particular list, right? Unpack this tuple inside this list. So this is I mean like this is also an important example. We'll see some more examples. So let's talk about dictionary. So my dict, you can write dict as well, right? uh, dict1. So this is my variable name. Then what I'm doing here is I'm providing key value pair, right? So what I'm doing here is k1. So k1 is first key. So you can write colon, then we have to provide a value. So this is a value, right? So that's how you can declare a dictionary, right? So similarly k2, this is the key name, and then value 2, right? 23, you can write anything anyway. k3 colon 45. So this is my dictionary, right? So similarly we can do the same thing here also. So for item in dict1, right, colon, then we can print item, right? So you'll get key. If you'll print the item, you'll get only keys, right? So what if you have to get values as well, right? And what if you have to get all the key value pair, right? So there are a couple of here there are a couple of methods, right? So what we can write here is items. So you'll get key values. So k1 1, k2 23, and k3 45. So you have to call this function, right? Items. So what if you want only values? So you can write values. So you'll get the values. So inside this first key we have a value 1. So we'll print 1, 23, 45, right? So that's how you can print values as well, right? So also I mean like there are a couple of few more example we can see, like what we're gonna use with for loop, right? So I'm writing, let's say var 2, right, is equal to, I'm putting a simple list, sorry, list having a few integer type variable 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? So this is the variable. What I'm doing here is I'm writing for num in var2, right, print num, so you'll get all values, right? So what I'm doing here is I can write let me write first if num is equal to 3, right, then what I'm doing here is I'm writing break. So you will not get the element after 3, right? So when we'll get this num is equal to 3, we will, I mean like execution will be break. So this is the break statement in for loop. So with break statement you can stop before it has looped through all items, right? So this is all about break. Now we'll see continue statement as well. So with continue statement we can stop current iteration of the loop, right? So we can only I mean like stop that particular present iteration of that loop and continue with the next, right? So I mean like you will get to know once we'll write the code, right? So what I'm doing here is var2 I'm writing just, right? So I'm writing for num in var2, right? Print. So before print we need to write something, right? So what I'm doing here is if num equal to 3, right? Equal to 3, we have to write continue. Continue spelling is correct, right? Yep. So print num. So if you'll see here, as I told you, with continue statement we can stop the current iteration of a loop and continue with the next, right? So if we'll get num is equal to 3, we'll not print this 3 and we'll move on to the next one. So num will go to first, second, then it will go get 3, right? So if num is equal to 3, then we'll continue, which means we'll stop the current iteration. So 3 will not get printed. Post we will continue with 4 5 6. So 1 2 4 5 6 you'll get, right? So this is how you can use continue, right? Post we'll see range function. This is very important function. So range function return a sequence of number starting from 0 by default and increased by 1 by default. However, you can specify those value as per your own use cases, right? So we'll see how exactly we're going to use all those things. So let's say I'm writing for let's say x, right, in range. So this is how we can write range function, right? So I'm writing here 9. So sorry, so print x, right? So we'll get starting from 0 to till 9, right? So this is the ninth index, sorry, n minus 1 index. So if we'll count this 1 2 3 4 5 6 9, right? So this is how you can use as I told you, range function return a sequence of numbers starting from 0 by default and increased by 1 by default. However, you can specify those values as per your own use case as well. So how you can do the same, you can write here, let's say I'm printing the same thing here. So 2 till 13, right? 14, let's say. So I'll get so starting from index 2 will go till 13, right, and minus 1. So this is how you can specify a range here. Also as I told you, it here if you'll see it is incrementing by 1, right, which is by default. So if you want to increment this value by 2, let's say, so what you can write here, uh, let's say I'm writing here. So you can provide the third value which is responsible for iteration, right? Increment, right? So let's say if I'm putting here 2, so we'll get 2 4 6 instead of 2 3 4 5 6, right? So here by default it will incrementing by 1, but if you'll specify the range number, so it will start incrementing as per the specified number, right? So third number will just for incrementing values, right? So this is all about range. This is the basic concept. Post we will use this particular function in while writing Python code, right? So we'll see in our next video as well. Also there is one else keyword in for loop, right? So which is also a very important thing. So else keyword in for loop specifies a block of code to be executed for sure, right, when a loops will finished, right? So let's say I'm just showing, let's say for x in range 8, right? So I'm printing uh, let's say x, right? So I will get this. So if we have to provide else, we can provide else here in this for. So we can print anything. So this is the these all are the elements of this elements, that's it, right? So as I told you, else is will be executed for sure when loops will be finished, right? So post, I mean, like, we can print anything. I mean, like, previously you have seen, if you'll remove this, you will get some error, right? Because if you'll not provide if condition, else won't execute, right? But with for loop you can do so. So if you'll execute this, you'll get some values. So this is all about for loop. So I hope you understood this. We'll come up with the next video very soon, right? So you can pause this video, you can note it down for your further remembrance. Thanks for watching.